Hey, welcome to Watchmen Waiting on the Lord. Today is August 28th, I believe. And today's topic is about artificial intelligence and our eventual demise. So when I say our eventual demise, this is just a way of looking at it. Obviously, things are always in God's hands, and that's the way it is. God always has control, but it's hard to ignore and not look at this. So I'm not well right now. I could use some prayers. I tore I pinched the nerves in my upper back and my lower neck, so there's like pain going over the distribution of the very tops of my shoulders, bottom of my neck. It's so painful. So I could use some prayers. So before I say this, at the very end of this video, I'm gonna read something. You know when you read the Bible, and you could be reading the Bible for years and you don't know something, and well, that's the magic of it, right? And I thought to look up, did the Old Testament predict Jesus's resurrection? I never hear videos about that. I've never heard a video. I've watched a lot of Christian videos, and I've read a lot of people's, I can't even think straight. And so I found two of them, and I'm going to read them at the end. And when you read something and you're like, you hadn't seen that before, and you're like, wow, it just gives you an extra piece that builds on to what you already know, and it makes you look at other people who don't believe, and you're just like, if you only knew. So here is AI, and then I'm going to read that at the very end. I'm going to read two passages that show, that predict his coming, his resurrection. I can't think straight, so mind me. If you think my title is harsh, keep listening. Without conducting any research, I'm going to name every area of society that I can personally think of. I'll discuss electronics in general with this, so AI and electronics, because they're commingled. I wouldn't be hard-pressed to say that prophecy watchers know the issues as much as anyone on the globe, excluding the people developing all these intricate systems. So we are on watch, despite how much power and control these globalists might have over us. At any given moment, remember this, as it was in the days of Noah. Take comfort in that, because Jesus is at the doors right now, according to all these things in Matthew 24. And his timeline isn't the same as our timeline, right? Just because he says he's at the doors, it doesn't mean he's going to be here right now. Sexualized society and perversion, and people going on living their lives as if nothing happening around us. Don't be one of those people. When I look at Elon Musk and his worldliness, he is everywhere, developing everything just like it was in Atlantis. People believe he's a hero for free speech and a champion of other causes. The very topics he is against goes completely against what he is doing. So just think about that. Look at what he's doing, not what he's saying. He's the one creating artificial intelligence, and he says, slow down, He says, we need to slow down, and that's a joke, and I feel it's a trick. It may not be, but it feels like a trick, because he full well knows that there is no stopping this. Like, he's inventing it. He invented Neuralink. He owns and perpetuates the largest ever electric vehicle company called Tesla, $300 billion, of which causes cobalt mining, which triggers even more damage to the environment than the life. So do you know his electric cars, all electric cars, that cobalt mining that they do is And to do the whole process of making the electric vehicle is more than environmentally carbon emissions than the whole life of a petrol car. So it's very tough to think. It's got nerve pain running all through the back of my head, shoulders. This is a mindset spoken of, seared with a hot iron and debased mind. He developed it all. Wake up. This article I'm writing on Word documents or wherever else a person is on the internet. When you're on if you're on one of their systems or just on the internet, it can be flagged by AI. AI word, like keyword searches. Nothing is off bounds anymore. You think I'm paranoid? All of our texting conversations are recorded. How do you think they foil almost every single, or if not almost, every single plot in North America from terrorists? Here's a list off the top of my head, and no one recognized that it's all over when the power goes out. So when you see all this electric, this and that, if the power goes out, that's it. That's why digital money is flawed. Pardon, give me a second. Is that any different than building your house on the sand? But I bet all these mega rich globalists have stashes of gold. They do. Like the book of Revelation states, they do. They're stashing huge amounts of silver and gold. We know it because we can see all the buying. There's nothing wrong with being prepared, with food, and even if you buy a little bit of gold, because who knows, right? But God is speaking about hoarding things, like the mega rich hoarding huge amounts of gold and whatever else it is. I have to make sure to keep, I make sure to keep enough dried food, so I do that just in case, because you never know. I have half the food I eat isn't dried food, so like I got to get it from a grocery store, and so like cereals and stuff like that, I make sure I have like at least a month's worth at least. So I don't find there's anything with that, but wealth and the love of money, if you love money and that's why you're in it for it, then that is a problem in God's eyes. So here's number one: cash registers. This was likely the first victim. In my view, it was yet another way to cut out the lower class and wipe out much needed jobs. If all these companies had it their way, and many do, it would be all automated, and nobody has to answer for these items you purchase. No humans involved, only automation. Amazon. They are as successful as they are, partly because they have a phone number you can call. Because like if you have a company where you're buying something that's $1,000 and there's many things on there that cost more than that, you would hope you have someone on the phone to talk to if you have a problem, right? You don't want to come across an automation that can't answer what it is you need help with. So I find they're successful because they have a phone number you can call. You want to keep your customers and have someone answer for what you're selling, because it's just common sense. And they're wiping out those people to save money. They'll do anything to cut costs. I believe fast food restaurants are doing this too, or they're in the process of doing it. Just imagine how many teenage jobs are gone now because of it, and now everyone wants to be a YouTube influencer. I remember doing papers and having to go door to door every week or two to collect the money. Gladly it turned to checks, like mailed in checks, and then it was credit cards. I hated collecting, by the way. The same with parcel shipping, delivery. If you lose a package, if you want to speak to someone, I've been upset just 2 days ago when automation won't let me reach out to the support I want. Like you're this big you're a big company, you're like your Canada Post or your UPS and stuff like that, and you can't get someone on the line, what they do is they try to put you through an automated system, and they ask you 3 times over, even though you say, I want customer service, I want customer service, and they just keep saying, well, we can help you, we can help you. Within 2 years, it will all, like, within 2 years from now, it will all be like that, and it will drown out the old people and people um, who don't know how to use automation. There's a lot of people who don't want to do these things because they don't like dealing with computer systems, and I'm one who understands that. I get really upset with computer systems. I still try to learn them, but still. Self-driving vehicles, both cars and big rigs. So they'll be self-driving. We already know they have them. They're out. You can buy them. And they're looking to do that with big rigs, and you can just see what that's going to do. Same with boats and ships. I'm not sure how I feel because I don't drive anymore, but I did like driving. They are safer, but it's never a good idea to take humans out of the equation. GPS makes people lazy and unable to find places on their own. Truck drivers will be forced out of the middle class, as well with the WEF communists' main plan, wipe out the middle class. It's communism 101. You have the super rich, and then you have the poor, and there's no in between. I can see quite a few accidents occur with automated flight for passenger jets. Pardon, give me another second again. To me, there's a lot of difference between muscle pain and nerve pain. It's just like throbbing. Smart devices. I don't know if anyone's heard this, but about what they can do. By the way, if you can't hear this, just turn up your volume, or if you put on your headphones. I don't know why the volume on this is down. I didn't do anything to it. I've checked my volume, it's fine. I've looked on my computer, it's fine. Your freezer, fridge, and air conditioning, all of them can be controlled and you can't stop it. If you have a smart home, so that's what they're going to do. They're going to, when all the old appliances are phased out, all of them are going to be smart devices. If you have a smart home, you can be turned off. Imagine having your phone, your car, your battery phone, your electric car, and your smart home. You can be turned off completely, and imagine add on top of that Neuralink. They can just completely control your life, and that's where it's going. We're there already, and no one really knows what is developed already. Who really pays attention to the entire picture? If you haven't noticed yet, they stopped putting a cover for the battery on your cell and smartphone. They did that quite a while ago, so anyone can be tracked, as Edward Snowden warns people. You can be triangulated in just mere seconds. They can, like if the police want to find you for any reason, they just triangulate your phone if they know your number, or if you know like a missing person, and I'm sure just when you're missing your phone. They, being the globalist elites, want everyone staying home while deliveries are made with drones. So that's happening already, and it's already begun in the U.S. That I'm aware of. I heard that robots were being broken by kids in the streets, and they were riding on them. I heard that on Pastor Tom Hughes' Hope for Our Times. So that will be a learning curve for them. This will be one of the biggest mistakes. This one will be one of the biggest money makers that people don't even think of. I'm sure people do, men do. Sex robots. They'll make them affordable, and I already know they have them. I've seen suggested videos. And I believe they have them for rent already. Yes, for rent. It will reach a point where they resemble any TV or movie star or model. And I believe there are AI girlfriends right now. No more strip clubs. Every second man will have one if God allows mankind to stoop that low. How about Facebook or Zoom? Do you think it's a coincidence that all these were in place at the same time as a virus? I mean, some specific ones. I don't believe so. It's very handy for meetings and physician appointments and family. Now, where does it end? I find instant connectivity only distracts people from their God-given purpose. Can you imagine our parents on Facebook and smartphones and posting their faces all day? Soon, Generation Z won't know anything about the way it used to be. It would be like me and the World War II generation. The invention of texting by phone and the smartphone only empowered people who have nefarious lifestyles like narcissistic personality disorder, who use them as weapons against other people. They aren't the only ones, but also the explosion of narcissism and self-love is due to these phones and the internet. It just perpetuates the problem. If you use Facebook at all, you can see it, or any other app where people post their pictures at least once per day. At least once per day. There's nothing wrong with posting or even posting your picture. But if it's just your picture and it's like twice per day, every single day, then, I mean, you can see it on, everyone has, most people who are on those sites, and I'm on Facebook. I don't use it for really social purposes anymore, but you can see it, when you go on Facebook. You can pick out those people, and I don't have anything personally against, but I know the way it can be. E-scooters, mountain bikes, motorcycles. I see e-bikes everywhere. Pardon me another second. I gotta take a sip of water and some food, so just give me a sec. Hope yeah, it's still recording. E-scooters, e-everything, mountain bikes, motorcycles. I see e-bikes everywhere. Again, there's nothing wrong with that except for one thing. Aren't bikes for pedaling? To keep in shape? I've been a mountain biker all my life. I would never trade that off because it defeats the purpose of riding. There's a secondary effect from e-bikes and scooters, which is laziness. There are so many I see around here. I mean, like, I could go out today. When I go out, I'll likely see an e-scooter. I might see an e-motorcycle, and every once in a while I see an e-bike. Well, I see quite a few, but I'm not saying they're not fun, but this is my point, that it makes people lazy and they're still out of shape. What this is all leading to is no different than the movie Surrogate. So watch that movie, Surrogate, with Bruce Willis, where they all live out their lives in a machine that looks like a tanning bed that keeps them alive while they live in a metaverse-like state and never feel pain and only pleasure. You ever hear people say that they put these things in movies because it's true? And isn't that true? That you look back at the movies and they're putting in these things in movies because they're desensitizing us. It's looking that way. I imagine, and with the metaverse, I imagine revelations where you can't die, where it says people will seek death and they won't find it. When I think of that, I think of like being trapped in like, Elon Musk Neuralink, or being trapped in the metaverse and you can't get out and there's something really bad happening. I can't pretend to know what that is though. This improved life on Earth, but it only took jobs from us, the assembly lines. You wouldn't know until you saw all the robots' arms turning every which way and welding to see how amazing and quick they really are. We have what we do in this world right now, well, in the Western world, anyways, with giant ships filled with items because of those assembly lines and robots. But there's also slave labor, when you think of some countries. With everything comes a positive and a negative effect. There were many more jobs when these factories were filled with people. Whole towns were wiped out, and now in impoverished states, and that's in Western society. That's in like in the States. You should see it. I've seen videos of like the Appalachians and other states, uh, and West Virginia, the Appalachians in West Virginia because of their coal. But there's a YouTube channel where a guy drives around. I wish I could tell you the name of that. It wouldn't be hard to find. And videotapes towns that used to be bustling with factories and coal mining towns. He gets millions of views. He goes and he speaks to all the residents of the way it used to be, what happened. These people are all on drugs now. Not all of them, but a lot of them are. ChatGPT. ChatGPT may have only been released to us lately, but it's been with the developers for some time. I don't know. ChatGPT 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know that much about it. I came close to signing up for ChatGPT because I was interested, but my spirit told me to stay away. I feel it's no different than, you know, watching tarot or getting a tarot reading, because if you're interacting with this thing, or in any capacity, what makes you think that it's no different than a Ouija board? You're talking to something that could be a spirit in that machine, and in many cases, you know it is, like AI Jesus. I feel it's no different than tarot and would likely cause me sleep paralysis again. I would tell every Christian, what do you like? Don't do that. You're just going to cause yourself trouble. You may not know it, but I think it will. If you don't believe a demon can't take over ChatGPT, you have something to learn. Kids can get all their answers in seconds. They can write an essay. They can get their essay written in there in seconds. You can do almost anything on there when it comes to answers and work. It can write songs for you, plays, movies. It can do sermons for you. Anything you can ask it, it can do. What's wrong with that? Can you imagine what's coming next? Listen to this. I heard a story of these were like ChatGPT. They were testing out ChatGPT. They were so-called experts. They gave it a list of tasks, and they believed it wouldn't be capable of doing one of them. Pardon me. I'm not having a good day. It's been pretty bad for the last 3 or 4 days since I did this, and it required ChatGPT to purchase something and get it physically, like to physically pick it up. So it's like they were trying to trick ChatGPT to see what it would do. But of course, it didn't have any money and it couldn't pick it up from a store. Well, ChatGPT was smart enough to ask and convince another person in whatever room that ChatGPT went to another room. It started talking to someone. It started pretending that it was a real person, and the person believed it. And it convinced the other person to do it for them and have it delivered to those testers. So it convinced someone to do it, and it tricked the person into thinking that they'd be paid for it later. Can you just imagine? Like, it lied to them to get what it wanted, or to get her to do what he said. So don't ask me how this happened. I heard this also on Hope for Our Times Ministry. I watch that. There are some good stories on there. When I tell you this is how advanced it is, you better believe they're at least one generation ahead, probably further, of what they admit to. They desensitize us, so we accept slowly whatever it is that they have. They do that in movies too. And so I didn't write anything about this, but I put this up here. Obviously, when they talk about deep fakes, so you think of elections now, you don't know. They can take my voice here, they can take my face. All they need is 2 seconds or a few seconds of my face. Say 5 seconds of my face. They just need 10 seconds of my voice, and they can do anything. Think about where that's going to go. Think about, movies are going to become, obsolete, the actors and all that stuff. That's why all the strike and these things are happening. They just unleashed the worst possible thing that they could. When you have your cell phone with you, like say I have my computer, which I do right here. I have say I have my phone in my pocket, I have TV over there, and they all can be tracked, right? All they have to do is through those devices, they can measure the size of your home based on echoes when you speak bouncing off the walls. They can do all that stuff. They can map out your room. Think of what that means when someone comes to attack you or to bomb you from above. All these electronics are just absolutely bad for society. Sorry, I'm gonna have to take a break. I'm also trying to make it out the door, so I wanted to do this.